to our Groundskeeper Chat series. I am joining you live from Louisville, Kentucky at the PGMS show. And this is going to be our final session of the day.
A long day for you.
It has been, but it's been wonderful. I've been telling everyone it's nice to come and get so much content in one day.
Right.
But then it's also nice because they all build off of one another.
Right.
It's, there's a lot of themes that come out in our podcast, but it's so nice when you can track them all in the same day.
Well, that's because we're all nuts. So we have
Truly.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
And in the
working off the same script.
That in the Las Vegas of Kentucky. I mean, where else would you want to do something like this, So.
I will say I drove in yesterday. I, dropped my car off. Came into the hotel. I haven't stepped foot out. And last night when there was an opportunity to go to my room at like 7, I was like, good night.
Yeah.
See you.
Yeah.
So I can't say I've seen that much of Louisville, but of what I've seen of the Galt House, the hotel, it's wonderful.
Cleveland or the Ohio River. It's
the same thing. Well,
everything in between doesn't count.
Yes,
Yeah.
Truly. Oh my gosh, 71. Really, it should be wiped off the map.
They're trying.
So the other voice you guys hear on the ones and twos today is Mr. Joe Kovolyan. He is with the University of Missouri.
Yeah, that's correct.
And he is joining us for our last session, and he comes highly regarded by Mr. Vince Jaganowski, but also there's a Matt Tobin tie-in as we were just covering. So Joe is a part of what he described as the OG New England crew, the PGMS and sports turf gentlemen. But I would love to hear your turf origin story. That's where we always start. It's a good place to start. How did this career come on your radar? Like, how did this become what you do for a living?
Yeah. Well, as you can tell, being 6'7", 130 pounds, athleticism,
What's
galore.
Your strong suit?
That's where I was heading, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
Typical high school athlete, but my origins were more agriculture.
Okay.
In my youth, and that's kind of what made an impression on me. So I went through high school horticulture program, forestry program, ag program.
Very cool.
And then, when I came to the realization that, I wasn't going to be a college track star or something like that, what really got me thinking is, but I love sports turf.
Yeah.
And this is way back in the dark ages of the early 80s.
Okay.
So there was really no such thing as sports turf. It was golf.
Yep.
And I'm a horrible golfer. I don't really like golf. So we kind of created my own little specialty training of education, and it was really based on thoroughbred horse track.
Okay, very cool. Oh, you're right in the heart of it.
So right in the heart of it. So I did a lot of, actually my professor got me a job working at a thoroughbred horse track.
Okay.
Taking care of both the turf track and the dirt track. And,
very cool.
And that's kind of where it started. So I started out heavily sports turf.
Okay.
And that's what I love to do.
Very cool.
And then got involved with a lot of the New England guys. We started the New England chapter of SFMA, which back then was STMA. I worked 5 years for the New England Patriots part-time, painting logos, doing things like that. Way back when we were still natural turf, Foxborough Stadium, early Gillette Stadium days.
Okay.
And those were my connections, like with Matt Tobin and Pioneer. And so it was a lot of fun. And then, I had an opportunity to go out west and try something totally different with a guy that I worked for on the East Coast. And I thought, if I'm going to move all the way across the country with my family, at least I know who I'm working for.
Yep.
So went to the Pacific Northwest, did that for about 11 years.
What part?
I was in Tacoma, Washington for most of it. And,
very cool.
Then did a few oddball things there, worked for a federal government research lab in the middle of the desert. That was different. I've always it's always been park, municipality, city,
very cool.
And then I was at Phillips Exeter for a long time.
Okay.
In Exeter, New Hampshire. And that's where Matt and I really spent a lot of time together. New England Park Association, New England Sports Turf Managers Association. It was about that time that I got involved with PGMS.
Okay.
And in the way my career went, I've always maintained athletic fields, but I started taking care more of campuses and things like that. So then it was, certified arbor, and then certified sports. I always was a certified sports turf manager, became a certified grounds manager.
Okay.
And so instead of sticking with SFMA, I kind of split off and really became a big part of PGMS.
Very cool.
So your last interview, Jeff McManus,
Yes.
I followed closely behind him. So I was the 100th national president of PGMS.
Okay, very cool.
So just got off the board a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So that was a 12-year
Jeff didn't even mention that.
No, of course he wouldn't. Well, he's all about Texas, which I believe Mizzou could probably beat and Ohio State did
I love
beat.
it.
So,
You are right. I'll say it. Vince said, I was telling you outside, Vince, I was like, I hope Joe makes it in time. He's like, you'll know if Joe's in the building.
Yeah, I don't sneak up on too many people. So.
I love it.
But
That
yeah,
is wonderful.
So it's just kind of shows you, the small world this industry is.
Definitely.
Because like when you reached out to me and we were talking, I'm like, man, I've known Pioneer and Matt Tobin for years, and Doug, the owner, and it's just so many great people with that company.
Definitely.
Jeff McManus, it was great. I used him as a reference.
Okay.
For Mizzou.
Okay.
And he used me as a reference for Texas.
I love it.
So it really does. It becomes a small world.
It, truly, and we've talked about it in so many of the episodes we recorded today, how being involved in a group like this, in being involved in your local chapter, your associations, whatever, how it not only can be a resource and a network and community for you professionally, but a lifeline at times as well. And it's how valuable it is to have people that you can call upon who are not so closely related to the challenge that you're facing or the triumph. They can be that champion that wasn't personally affected by your success or by your failure.
Exactly.
And they're able to give you a perspective or mentorship that it is so valuable to have people in different corners of the world, in different groups and different walks of life. And especially if you've been in this industry for so long, and let's say you've even been fortunate to be at the same place. How not being involved in groups like this could be so dangerous almost, because then it's like this group think where you've all been here for so long or what have you. It's like you've got to have that outside perspective, and I can tell from your story that you've invested in these associations. How have they impacted your career and really changed that roadmap for you?
Oh, absolutely. It's been one of the key. It's been, besides having family support, my family is always very supportive of what we did. And my wife is similar like me. We like to travel. We always want to know what's over that next horizon, things like that. But when you think about moving 3,000 miles across.
Crazy. I could literally never.
you've lost all your connections.
Yeah.
Your supplier connections, your industry partners. I mean, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have these organizations, if you hadn't invested the time
to
build those relationships, it really makes it tough. I'll give you two quick examples. So and one's a PGMS and one's an SFMA. The PGMS one is I'm sitting in Tacoma, Washington, and we're getting ready to change out our artificial field. And it's just a change out. It was already built. So we're getting ready to change the rug out, and we're getting our sales pitches, from the contractors. And this individual came in, and he's speaking a pretty strong game, and he's bragging about where he just came from. And then we break for lunch. Well, where he was bragging was Brigham and Young University.
Nice.
I just happened to know the guy at the time. That was my counterpart. So I called him because I just hung out with him 3 months before at a PGMS event.
Yeah.
I called him up. I'm like, dude, this is the company. This is the salesman. He's using your university. And he laid it all out for me, the good, bad, and ugly of it. And we got back from lunch, and the guy's mouth just dropped.
Nice.
That I had found that much out.
Yeah.
Quick of time.
I love it.
And it really solved us from going down a bad path.
Yeah, truly.
So it's things like that. And then, of course, now I just totally zoned what the SFMA one was. So
Look at that recovery.
So when I did, for some family reasons, we came back across the Mississippi back here. So I left the Northwest and went to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
So I was the head of.
Did you cross paths with Tyler Morris at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I love him.
Yep. Tyler got there 6 months before I did.
Okay.
And then Tyler left about maybe 6 months after that. And then I left about 6 months after that.
Okay.
So yeah. So Tyler and I were together for a while, and then he went up to Jersey, and that's what it was. Through SFMA and PGMS, the individual that came down and took Tyler's place was because of someone I knew from New England.
Okay.
And it was that connection.
Yeah.
He was looking for a change, a different period in his life. So he came down and basically took over that end.
I love it.
And he's still there at Vanderbilt.
Okay, nice.
And then, and then I came out to Mizzou. And so, in fact, we hosted SEC 2 weekends ago.
Okay,
it would have been twice in this year already. So they can stop. We're good. Thank you. It's always great for the university, and it's awesome to see teams do well. But boy,
you were just hosting them this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it takes it takes a lot. So now Mizzou's going to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And game day's going.
Okay.
So my old crew at Vanderbilt's texting me, letting me know what's going on with them prepping for game day.
Yes.
So again, it's just kind of a small world.
Well, in all of those things are really, there are other duties as assigned.
Correct.
Managing a TV crew, you would never
think.
Yes.
Yeah.
In having those resources, and you find them in groups like this because you can't look to the guy sitting next to you to be like, how do we do this? I mean, I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT is a great resource. But
yes, it is. Yeah.
But being able to call that person and that you've met down the road through these organizations and say, how did you do it? Or who's the guy that we really should look out for?
Exactly.
How are they going to mess up our field? Yada, yada.
Right.
And it just has that personal touch it makes all the difference.
Makes all the difference, yeah. And I think the other thing that these organizations bring is education for your crew.
Yeah.
I'm really a big believer, and I know my guys get tired of hearing it, but it's all about the team.
Yeah.
It's not me doing it. It's not individuals doing it. It's us all working together. And these organizations, they have the certifications and the trainings, but it's also, again, making those connections where they can talk to each other. The first time we did SEC this year, the boom crane for the camera was hitting some tree limbs. So our urban forester came down and actually harnessed himself up, went up into the tree and cleared everything. So now all the TV people are sitting there watching my guy.
Yeah, I love it.
Do his thing. But what a great interaction.
Yes.
To have, between my team working with that element. And
it is so cool.
And that's a great experience he can bring back.
Yeah.
And here he is looking at a group of individuals that do TV for a profession, but they're all wowed by
admiring
what
him.
He's doing.
Yes, yeah.
So, you can't script things like that.
Yeah. Well, and how often I think that would be the case if our profession was in the spotlight for some of these things. Like, I just think that kids would be just as enamored by the grounds crew. You see them with the Zamboni drivers because those, they come out during the game, and in the grounds crew that come out during the baseball game.
Right.
Imagine how a kid would react to watching somebody craft an end zone.
Yes.
You can't capture that, I'm sure. And I do think they would be just as enamored or be able to envision themselves in a role like that as they would the player on the field.
Absolutely.
And how much more achievable it is to be in the greens industry than the quarterback of the Patriots.
Exactly. Exactly. And you picked a good team. Thank you.
Yes,
for doing that.
I did that in service of you. Well, my reference point is the Browns. So.
Yes. Well, that was my first. I'm originally from Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was born in Parma.
No way. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
So was my mom.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
I finished at University of New Hampshire.
So, okay.
Yeah,
so you guys moved at some point.
We moved and
Okay.
I left Ohio, but Ohio never really left me.
It's true. You could take the boy. I was going to say, you don't have the New England accent.
No.
So I guess you're right. You had to come from somewhere else.
It's a little combination of everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
My mom grew up in Parma. I grew up in Garrettsville. Do you know Garrettsville?
Yep.
So yeah, you can't take the girl out of G-Tucky, as I like
you
to
cannot.
say.
No. I spent a lot of my early years in Marietta, right across from the West Virginia border. So,
Okay.
I get, yeah.
And now I live in Westlake.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. So what do they say? You pass the Grey Poupon.
Yes,
right?
truly. Oh, goodness.
I don't think anyone thinks that about Ohio, except for
No,
those of us
no.
have been
It's
there.
lakefront, everybody.
Yes.
It's lakefront.
Yeah, yeah.
I, of course, do not live on the lake, but
Well,
I get the breeze and the mayflies.
Yeah.
So-
Well, you go from New England, where pretty much the F-bomb is a greeting.
Yes.
It's saying happy holidays, happy birthday.
Yes. My type of people, I think.
Yeah, I love it. And then I went to the Northwest, where everything is a little bit more passive aggressive. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
So I will say, Columbia, Missouri is an awesome place. And
I'm very geographically challenged. So what states surround?
So we're geographically tucked right between Kansas City
Oh, okay.
and St. Louis. So it's 2 hours one way, 2 hours the other.
I wonder if I drove through there.
You probably drove right through
I drove
70.
through Wichita. I drove from Wichita to Kansas City.
Yep.
And then from Kansas City to St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, you drove right through Columbia. Thanks for stopping.
Look at that.
I knew I didn't like you for a reason.
I will tell you, it was during an awful heat wave, and I was on my last leg.
Yeah.
I spent a day with Ben Hartman over at the Wind Surge.
Okay.
And talk about not quitting, or perseverance, or whatever you want to say about hard work.
Yes.
He got there several hours before I showed up, and I was there probably around 10, let's say.
Okay.
And then we didn't leave until 11 p.m.
Wow.
And I was holding a camera the whole day. He was actually doing the manual labor.
Right.
I was just in awe of these people.
Yeah.
Because I had to take 3 breaks. Where I went back to the hotel and had to change all my clothing because I was sweating
Just
so
sweating
much.
so profusely, yeah.
And he was there the whole day.
Right.
It was insane. It was, and when we talk in terms of that, sometimes burnout is on the roadmap of people's career.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you can't, there are probably some individuals that have managed it. We saw Dave, Millar open today.
Yes.
He has somehow managed a whole entire career in baseball. I think of Larry DeVito managing an entire career in baseball, Nicole Sherry.
Yeah.
Some of these people that you're like, how?
Right.
And how they've got this incredible team that you mentioned.
Right. Which is, and it's funny too, because, like Dave Meller, I'm still from Joe Mooney days.
Okay.
So
yes.
I was there when Joe kind of stepped down and Dave came in. I actually swapped some turfs with Dave Meller when he was trying to get his first season kicked off the ground, because I was in Cambridge, right across the river.
Okay.
And at that time, that was when the field was still gray.
Okay.
And we had a gray field, and he needed gray turfs. And it didn't take him long to change that field out, obviously.
Okay.
But again, it was one of those things that we didn't know each other. I'm a municipality. He's obviously the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
But there we are backing up, into Fenway Park with 2 pallets of gray turfs.
Well, it's a community. It's like
it's a
family, really.
Yeah.
I say it's the family tree of turf.
It
we kind of did yours earlier, where do all those people, the big names, fall on your list.
Yeah.
But I'm always so fascinated by it, because everyone has those branches that intertwine with other people's trees.
That time, Larry DeVito was in Rhode Island.
Yes. Okay.
Sox,
I remember that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, we all had that kind of connection.
Yes.
We always used to say, if you could grow grass in New England, you could pretty much do it anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
I love it.
So,
but going back to that, burnout concept, how have you stayed? How do you keep that perspective fresh? How do you ensure that, you're not one of those people that are like, this is how we've always done it, and you're just driving that nose deeper into the sand?
Right.
How do you kind of make sure that your crew's showing up without, feeling like, oh my God, I have to go to work today.
Right.
But also for you, it's hard to have a longevity in this career.
It truly is. And it takes a toll on the body too. I think for me, there's a couple things. One, when you first start out in your career, you think about your good bosses and your bad bosses, and you try to emulate what you've learned that worked. I had an experience where I became the foreman, and everyone was at least 30 years older than me. It was very awkward. So you had to learn pretty quickly. But I also found a lot of stuff that we do is pretty mundane.
Yeah.
And it can make you nutty. You know, everyone can't wait to stop mowing and go to leaves, and then they can't wait to stop leaves to go plowing snow, and then they can't wait to stop plowing snow to start mowing again. But you also need, I think, one thing is always keep them informed.
Yeah.
Let them know about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, that little thing that you're doing, how's that affecting the bigger picture, and how's that affecting wherever you're at, a municipality, a university, whatever it is. It helps get them buy-in, you know?
Yeah, I was going to literally just say that term, yeah.
You want them to buy in. The other thing is, I think part of it's, you have to have a personality where you want to continue to learn, you know? The nice thing is, like with PGMS, we all love each other, but we all have a healthy, sarcastic wit about each other, and we want to harass each other, and we want to outdo each other.
I saw that right out in the hallway there.
Yeah, you probably did. But I think that creates a drive.
Yeah.
You know, and Jeff McManus is a great example. You know, I mean, he Ole Miss would make, you know, one of the most beautiful campuses in the country, and I'd be like, well, who the hell is Jeff to get that? And my campus looks great too, you know. So when we got to be one of the most beautiful campuses, you know, through the Princeton Review, I couldn't wait to rub that into Jeff.
I love it.
You know, so I think that's a big part of it. And then what I have found as I've gotten older, especially now here at Mizzou, is, I mean, I consider this the twilight of my career. What I really enjoy is sharing whatever I can with the people coming up in the industry. I actually get more enjoyment out of that. You know, we're going to accept an award while we're here this week.
Oh, very cool.
And I can't wait to see my people go.
Oh, that's really sweet. Yeah,
because they're the ones that worked hard. My one assistant director, she's the one that put the whole program together, the package and stuff. So she should get that recognition.
Yeah,
you know,
I love it.
I mean, I've won those in the past, and they're great. They're fun, but been there, done that.
Yeah,
it's time to pass the baton.
I love it.
So I want to continue to learn, because I want to continue to encourage them to learn.
Yeah.
But it's actually it's more exciting to see them.
I love that perspective, because a lot of the talk today in the forum was about creating a culture, but how are we approaching the next generation?
Right.
And I will say, in the breakout groups, it could be hard to stray away from the negativity that some people associate with the next generation.
Right.
And I was kind of like putting my head down, like, oh no, am I that like, oh no, like I hope but it is, I love that perspective that you share that, because it really is like, you know, I'm sure there are qualities about the next generation that are very different from what, you know, people have. But also, if you can look at it as an opportunity.
Sure.
And also, what could they bring to the workforce that maybe does change it? You know, I think about how my husband and I have, you know, created our careers, and my parents both of our parents look at it and they're like, wow, like they wish they could have accomplished being able to be at home with your kids every day for school drop off and pick up, and have that work-life balance, and that trade-off where like we have to travel, but then we're also at home a lot as well. And I think being open to hearing those solutions instead of just being like, man, this next gen bust.
And it's hard, you know, and Tyler is a good example, you know. And I never really did the math until we were just talking, but I think it's been about 20 years from the time I earned my certification as a sports turf manager to Tyler got his.
Okay, yes.
And Tyler got his while he and I were still together at Vanderbilt.
And I think he was one of the youngest to ever do it.
He was one of the youngest, too. Yeah. You know, so we're from very different backgrounds, you know, and I spent my whole career in sports turf and then into the grounds management.
Yeah.
You know, so... And it was tough for him because he was the assistant. He was there first, and then I come in as the head guy. Okay,
I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah. So technically, you know, he worked for me. He and I would work on the athletic fields, but he was the athletic field guy, you know, and I would focus on the campus stuff. But we didn't always agree personally. Yeah. You know, and we didn't always get along personality-wise. But one of the important things that I think we worked well together was exactly what you said. His generation, the knowledge that he had with just using apps, and some of the more modern technology stuff, well above what I could do.
Yeah.
And then there's times I looked at him and going, why are you trying to make this so difficult? We could just do it this way. That's how we've done it for 30 years. It works just as well.
Yeah.
So there was a little give and take there.
Yeah.
But
it is tough to navigate for sure. And I see it, I feel like I've really paved a different career path. And I feel like sometimes I get resentment from moms that did have to send their kids to daycare. And how do we navigate that? Because that's the reality. Like, that sucks that they that they had to do that, or maybe they weren't given maternity leave. Like, my mom always is like, I never had maternity leave.
Neither did my wife.
Yeah. And she was and it's like, I can understand where that resentment comes from.
Absolutely.
How do we make sure that it's not prohibiting change from happening, though?
Right.
Because we don't want those things, right? Like, we don't want everyone to experience the same hardships if we know that there's a better path. But that resentment can really get in the way of that. It can get in the way.
And I think people have to stop and take a breath.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong. It's just your opportunity was different than theirs.
Yeah.
So it's a jealousy, and there's nothing wrong with jealousy.
Yeah.
But you can't let it turn into that resentment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I call it a touch grass moment.
Yep.
Like, you got to go out and be like, okay, what's the big picture here?
Right.
If this person gets something that I didn't have, is the world going to end? Or maybe my team will be better from it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find that actually, if we grant our employees a different rule book, that maybe things are going to completely revolutionize for our crew. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
I think trying to have a crew anymore is so tough. Trying to keep help is so tough. I think you have to be creative. I mean, you have to be understanding. But I also think you have to set goals.
Yeah.
And you have to help push that drive. I mean, if people don't want to work, they're not going to work.
Yep.
You know, but you got to get them excited to work.
Well, and I like what you said also. You come from an FFA background.
Yep.
And, SFMA has been putting a ton of focus on kind of pooling from that labor pool.
Yeah.
But also we see it, really getting the messages out to those athletes who want to stay near the game.
Right.
Like, this is your avenue to do so.
Yes.
So.
And, and I think in our industry as a whole, you think a lawnmower and a pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't think that you could have a whole sports career in a municipality.
I wish everybody could have access to Nick Pappas's Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Look at how he was literally on ESPN last week.
Right.
He is so legit, and it's not like his career path was that different than a ton of other sports field
managers. Yeah.
And it's like, this is just as badass as the quarterback. You know what I mean? I love following him.
Yeah. So at Mizzou, they have a tradition where the freshmen come in and they paint the M.
Okay, so stadium. Cool. Oh, I love that.
And it's an awesome tradition. Mm-hmm. We also have a tradition that they all run through the columns as freshmen, and that's their becoming freshmen and students at the university. Our stadium's under construction right now, so the M isn't there. And so they did set up, they have an M in the softball field so the students could do that. But my assistant and I really thought, how cool would it be if we painted the Mizzou logo on the lawn in front of the columns?
Very cool, yeah.
So they could still run across something,
I love
be part of something, and so we striped the field, we striped the lawn up like a zebra.
I love it.
Or in our case, a tiger, but with those kind of X stripes and painted the logo, and it was a huge hit, I
love it.
And that's the thing. I don't think people think about what we do has so much effect on everybody else. Mm-hmm. Just do that little bit extra.
Yeah.
We had to mow the grass anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the difference if we take a little bit longer and really mow in a cool pattern?
You find that, I really find that sports turf managers and grounds managers who have that ability.
Right.
And I feel it's so innate in you guys.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, if it was up to me, I would do the bare bones.
Right.
I just told you after this episode, I was like, no more. I'm out of here.
You're done. I'm packing up.
But people like you are really, you're so well suited for the industry because you're willing to see that extra mile and then take it one step further and actually do it.
Right. And I think that's what makes SFMA PGMS, ISA, all these different, because we do bring like-minded people. We're
Yeah.
not like personalities. We're not like attitudes.
Yeah.
But we all, a lot of us have the same work ethic and drive. We do this because we love it.
Yes.
It's not because of the cool clothes and the great money.
There are some cool clothes. So.
Oh yeah, everyone likes to look like a rubber duck when it's raining. Everyone wants to be a groundskeeper when it's 75
Yes.
degrees and beautiful out.
I love it.
But where are they at 3 a.m. when it's 30 below?
Yeah.
Or
when your irrigation goes off.
when your irrigation goes off, or it's 10 a.m. and it's 103.
Yep.
And,
So true.
And I think that's where our profession shines.
Yep.
Because we still get that field ready.
Yeah.
For that athlete, or we still get.
And there's so much pride in that.
There's so much pride.
There's
in that.
a lot of passion, and there's also so much purpose in setting that stage.
Yeah. On the athletic end, you got to think about the safety.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's always number one, the safety of the athlete. But two, the aesthetics and the effect that the people coming to watch that sport,
atmosphere.
to get that atmosphere.
You're creating that.
And it transfers right into the same thing on a college campus.
Yeah.
They say you have about 5 to 7 seconds to make that first impression.
Yes, I believe it.
So if the place doesn't look good, you automatically start thinking, well, maybe this isn't such a great place.
Yeah, how can you envision your future in the Drury?
Especially
you don't
if
want
you're going
to
spend that kind of money.
Yeah, truly.
So I think we're trained to sell ourselves. We have to sell what we do.
I love it.
Awesome.
Well, Joe, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate your time. I appreciate that energy that you brought to the last session. And I appreciate everyone listening to our PGMS series. Much more to come. We'll be at SFMA this year as well, doing our live chats. So be looking out for those. But success all around.
Yeah, definitely. Tell Doug I said hi.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.